Imagine this. Right now, as you read these words, inside your body are two tiny organs, about the size of a fist, working tirelessly to keep you alive. They have no rest, no weekends, no concept of tiredness. They are your kidneys. Every second, blood passes through the kidneys. Every minute, waste is filtered. Every day, approximately 180 liters of blood are purified. That's an unimaginable number. If you poured that amount of blood out, it would be enough to fill hundreds of large water bottles. And the kidneys do it silently, precisely, continuously, without you even feeling it. What surprises many people even more is this. Although so small, the kidneys receive up to a quarter of the blood that the heart pumps out, more than any other organ by size. The brain doesn't receive that much. Neither does the liver. Neither do the muscles. The kidneys are the absolute priority filtering machines. And then, let's ask a simple question that very few people ever ask. What happens if these filtering machines no longer have to work constantly for food? When you decide not to eat for a day, the first thing that happens isn't hunger. The first thing that happens is reduced pressure. Less protein enters the body. Less urea needs filtering. Less sodium needs balancing. Less sugar needs processing. Less toxins from digestion. The kidneys still work. They never shut down. But for the first time in a long time, they are no longer overwhelmed. Like someone who has worked in a noisy environment for years, suddenly stepping into a quiet room, not to sleep, but to hear themselves clearly. In modern life, we eat almost constantly. 3 main meals, snacks between meals, sugary drinks, late-night meals. Each meal is a new wave, down to the kidneys. Each wave carries waste, salt, sugar, metabolic compounds. The kidneys process it all. No complaining, no early warning. They just accumulate microscopic damage. And that's the most dangerous thing, because kidney disease rarely hurts in the early stages. By the time you realize it, it's often too late. When you stop eating, a delicate chain of biological reactions begins to unfold. Insulin drops. And insulin isn't just a hormone that controls blood sugar. Insulin signals the entire body that food is coming. Process it. When insulin is low, the message changes. There's no new source. Optimize what you have. For the kidneys, this is a major change. Less insulin means less metabolic stress, less underlying inflammation. Inflammation is a concept that is easily misunderstood. Acute inflammation, like when you cut your hand, is good. It helps you survive. But chronic inflammation is different. It's like a small fire, smoldering in the tissue, day after day. No pain, no swelling, no obvious signs, but it erodes the internal structure. The kidneys are one of the organs most damaged by chronic inflammation. Constant eating, fluctuating blood sugar, high oxidative stress. When you're not eating, these signals subside. The kidneys no longer have to both filter and fight fire. Once the pressure is reduced long enough, kidney cells begin to do something they rarely have time to do: clean themselves up. Inside each cell, there are faulty proteins, poorly functioning organelles, old structures. In a state of constant eating, cells are too busy to process the new energy flow. Waste accumulates. But when fasting, the body activates an ancient mechanism: autophagy. Literally, it means eating yourself, but it's actually self-recycling. Cells dismantle inefficient parts, turning them into raw materials to rebuild. For the kidneys, this is extremely important because the kidney's filtration system is made up of extremely sophisticated structures. Even a small microblockage can lead to scarring. Autophagy helps clear those blockages before they become permanent. As fasting lasts longer, the body switches to using fat. And from fat, the liver produces ketones. Many people think ketones are just backup fuel, but recent science shows that they are powerful biological signals. Ketones tell cells, reduce inflammation, increase stress tolerance, slow down the scarring process. The kidneys use ketones very efficiently, and not just for burning energy. Ketones also help reduce oxidative stress, the kind of rust inside cells. Less rust means slower aging. Then comes the part that really got scientists sitting down. The kidneys have special cells called podocytes. They wrap around the tiny blood vessels. In the filtration system, their fingers interweave, forming a delicate barrier. This barrier traps proteins in the blood and allows waste products to pass through. When podocytes are damaged, protein leaks into the urine. This is one of the earliest signs of kidney disease. The problem is, for decades, it was believed that podocytes could not regenerate. Once lost, they were gone. That's why Kidney disease was considered irreversible until something unexpected happened. In recent studies, when applying a fasting mimicking diet, scientists discovered that genes that were only active when the kidneys were forming in the fetus are switched back on. Podocytes begin to change their behavior. They don't just survive, they are reprogrammed. Structures that were once thought to be permanently lost begin to reappear. This is no longer a hypothesis. In small human trials, these kidney protective changes last for months to a year after the intervention ends. Not medication, not surgery, just intentional periods of not eating. This doesn't mean fasting is a miracle. Nothing in biology is a miracle. It means your body is more capable of self-repair than we ever thought, but only if we allow it. It's important to clarify one thing. Long-term fasting is not suitable for everyone. People with severe kidney disease, people undergoing dialysis, people taking medication to control blood sugar or blood pressure, pregnant women, people with a history of eating disorders. For these people, unsupervised fasting can be dangerous. Biology is always about balance. But for many healthy people, fasting reveals something very profound. The kidneys are not just passive filters. They are intelligent organs, adaptable, repairable, and self-protective when conditions allow. We live in a world where food is never scarce. But our bodies evolved in a completely different world. A world of cycles. Eat, not eat. Activity, rest. Fasting doesn't create anything new. It only restores an old circadian rhythm. The most important thing is not whether you fast or not. It's that you understand that your body is not as fragile as you think. Inside you are systems that have kept humans alive for tens of thousands of years. And sometimes, the best thing you can do for your body is to do nothing at all for the time being. After a day or several days without eating, your body gets used to a different rhythm. A rhythm in which insulin is low, fat is the primary fuel source, inflammation is suppressed, repair systems are active, and then the inevitable moment arrives. You eat again. This moment is far more important than fasting itself, because in biology, the phase transition is always more dangerous than the steady state. When you break fast, the first thing that happens is not in your stomach, but in your hormones. Insulin rises, not a slow rise like after a normal meal, but a rise on a background of very low, suppressed insulin. It's like turning on a headlight in a dark room. If you break fast correctly, the light helps you see clearly. If you break fast the wrong way, the light will overwhelm you. Your body at this point is like a city that has just gone through a period of energy conservation. Every system is working efficiently, optimally, without excess. And then, the supply suddenly returns. How you introduce that supply will determine whether your body continues to recover or falls into metabolic chaos. Many people think that after fasting, the body is thirsty for sugar, and they break fast with cakes, fruit juice, white rice, refined food. This creates a biological shock. Insulin spikes, blood sugar jumps, fat is locked up immediately. The kidneys, having just experienced a valuable rest, are pulled back into a state of high-intensity work. Not because you eat, but it's because you eat the wrong things at the wrong time. After fasting, your body is more insulin sensitive than ever. That's both an opportunity and a risk. If you include protein, natural fats, minerals, your body uses them very efficiently for repair and rebuilding. If you include refined sugar, fast carbohydrates, ultra-processed foods, your body absorbs them too quickly and the consequences follow immediately. One of the systems most severely affected when you break fasting is the gut. After a break, the gut is like a field that has just been left fallow, rebuilding its protective barrier. When you break fast gently, the gut has time to adapt, secrete appropriate enzymes, re-establish the microbiome. But when you break fast with a heavy, sugary meal, the gut is immediately overloaded. You may feel bloated, nausea, fatigue, rapid heartbeat, not because of incorrect fasting, but because of misunderstanding the break fast. For the kidneys, breaking fast is a real test. During fasting, the kidneys filter less urea, less sodium, less metabolic products. When eating again, it all comes back. If you eat too much protein immediately, urea increases rapidly. The kidneys have to process it quickly. If you eat salty food, your kidneys have to adjust pressure and electrolytes. If you eat sweet food, insulin increases, retains sodium, increases filtration pressure. The kidneys can handle it. But the question is, are you letting it return to its old rhythm, gradually? Smart fasting is not about eating less, but about eating the right things first. Easily digestible protein, a little fat, minerals. This signals to the body that supplies are back, but there's no need to panic. Insulin increases moderately. Blood sugar stabilizes. The repair system doesn't shut down abruptly. Interestingly, after fasting, many people realize that they feel full faster, not because the stomach contracts, because the satiety signals are clearer. The brain is more sensitive to leptin. Insulin doesn't mask the feeling of fullness. If you force yourself to eat more because you're afraid of not having enough, you're going against the newly formed biological signals. There's another common mistake when breaking fasting. That is, eating continuously immediately afterward. The first meal, then a snack, then more, just to be sure. This negates all the benefits of the recent rest cycle. The body is just relearning how to use energy efficiently. Continuous eating pulls it back to the old habit. Breaking fast correctly is not the end of fasting. It's a continuation, a bridge between two biological states. And this bridge needs to be built slowly. Another important thing related to behavior. After fasting, you'll easily realize whether you eat because you're hungry or out of habit or because of emotion. Breaking fast in a hurry, watching videos, scrolling on your phone, eating just to get it over with, is missing a very rare opportunity to reevaluate your relationship with food. Those who practice long-term fasting are not the best at tolerating hunger, but rather, they are the best at breaking fasts. They know when to eat, how much is enough, and when to stop. Finally, the most important thing to remember is, fasting is not the destination. Breaking fasts is not the reward. Both are just different phases in the same circadian rhythm. If you consider fasting as time for the body to repair, then breaking fasts is time to rebuild. What materials are used to build it, how quickly or slowly it is built, whether it is built carefully or carelessly, will determine whether the benefits gained are retained or disappear. There's an unpleasant truth that nutritional science is increasingly having to acknowledge. Fasting rarely fails because of the act of not eating itself. It fails because of what happens around it. How you enter fasting, how you live through fasting, and especially how you exit fasting. Most of the damage doesn't happen during the fasting itself. It happens when the body, having just adapted, is suddenly pulled back into a fast. The first mistake is viewing fasting as an event, not a biological cycle. Many people think of fasting as a challenge, a cleansing session, a way to compensate for days of overeating. And so, they enter fasting. With stress, the body senses that. Psychological stress increases cortisol. High cortisol increases blood sugar. High blood sugar means your kidneys and liver don't get the rest you think they do. You may not eat, but your body is still in a state of attack. Sustainable fasting doesn't start with starvation. It starts with calmness, a non-punitive decision. I have to endure it. I give my body a break. Just one different thought in your head, but the hormonal response is completely different. The second mistake is treating every unpleasant signal as an enemy. When fasting, you will feel hungry, empty, sometimes restless. Many people immediately drink strong coffee, chew gum constantly, look for something to suppress that feeling. But in biology, not every signal needs to be suppressed. Some signals just need to be observed. Hunger comes and goes, like waves. If you panic, you lose control. If you observe, your brain learns that I'm fine, and that's very deep training for the nervous system. The third mistake is underestimating the role of water and electrolytes. Many people say, I'm fasting and I feel dizzy, my heart is racing. The problem isn't not eating. The problem is low insulin. Kidneys excrete more sodium. Water is being drawn out. The body enters a state of mild electrolyte deficiency. This isn't an immediate danger sign, but if ignored, it will ruin the fasting experience. Sustainable fasting is not about enduring thirst. It's drinking enough water, supplementing with minerals, supporting the kidneys to work gently. The fourth mistake is fasting for too long when the body isn't ready. The body is like muscles. No one lifts heavy weights right from the start, but many people have never fasted for more than 12 hours, don't understand their body's signals, don't have stable sleep patterns, and jump into fasting for many days. The consequences are high cortisol, heart rhythm disturbances, insomnia, anxiety. And they conclude, fasting isn't for me. That's not true. Your circadian rhythm hasn't been trained. A sustainable fasting cycle doesn't need to be long. It needs to be rhythmic. The body learns in cycles, not in terms of performance. 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours. Only then do you think about going further. Each minor success is a time the nervous system learns that this state is safe. The fifth mistake is eating again as if you never fasted. We've talked about breaking fast, but there's a deeper layer here. It's not just about eating the first meal, but about the 24 hours afterward. Many people break fast correctly, but then eat continuously all day. Blood sugar fluctuates wildly. Insulin goes up and down constantly. This extinguishes all the metabolic benefits. Fasting doesn't teach the body to endure hunger. It teaches the body flexibility. If after fasting you go back to eating as before, the body will revert to its old way of functioning. So, what is a true fasting cycle? It's not about the number of hours. It's about the harmony between the three phases: the eating phase, the non-eating phase, the phase transition. These three phases must communicate with each other. No disruption, no shock. Those who maintain long-term fasting are not because they are iron disciplined, but because they understand their body's signals, respect their limits, and don't view fasting as punishment. They don't ask, "How long can I last?" They ask, "What does my body need right now?" There is a very subtle change that occurs after a few cycles of proper fasting. You begin to eat slower, feel full sooner, crave less sweets, react less emotionally to food, not because of willpower, because insulin is more stable, leptin is clearer. The brain is no longer pulled by dopamine from food. This is a sustainable behavioral change, not forced. For the kidneys and liver, this cycle is especially important, not because fasting saves them, but because it gives them 2 rest periods, repair time, and a cyclical work rhythm. Organs are just like humans. No one performs well when forced to work continuously without rest. Finally, the most important thing to remember is, fasting is not a lifestyle. It is a rhythm in a lifestyle. If you make it extreme, the body will resist. If you make it a dialogue, the body will cooperate. When you view fasting as a biological cycle, not a challenge, you will no longer ask, "Can I handle it?" You might ask, "What am I learning from my body?" And that's when fasting is no longer just a technique. It becomes a way of understanding yourself.